Well. Let's see. Maybe if I'm actually facing the mic, it'll be louder. 1 second, y'all. We're just getting started here. I'm glad to see that some of you have already been able to stop in and say hello. Astro's pretty keen on seeing what's going to happen with this tubing, but I can pretty much already tell that she's pretty stained. It's got some stuff. Although the coolant itself, which is, oh, I don't have it here, but it's EK Cryofuel Scarlet Red, I'm pretty sure. So let me just pull up the video here so I can get on chat, so I can read all of your lovely questions and make sure I'm not screwing up too bad. But feel free to let me know if I am. I think we're actually going to start with the thermal paste, if y'all are cool with that. I'll probably do like a little more in-depth testing and write-up on my own time, not during this stream, just because, I mean, it's partially just benchmarking, which is clearly not at all interesting. So we can grab a chair and let's get to it. So we do have Kingpin KPX in the house today. So this isn't like brand new. Honestly, none of this stuff that we're looking at today is brand new, if you couldn't tell. So I apologize if you were expecting brand new stuff. It's a little bit old, but new to me at least, and new to the channel. So let's see, when are you water cooling an RTX 3090? If anybody wants to send me one, I'll throw a block on it for you just to do a video. But yeah, I don't think, I mean, I don't plan on getting a 30 anything for myself. Possibly Hank will get one or something. I don't know. He usually buys the new stuff. So if he does, he usually has like either myself or Jeremy block it. So we make a quick little video on that at least. But yeah, like I said, this is pretty new. Kingpin Cooling KPX is what it's called. Here it comes in the package from Kingpin himself. It says low thermal resistance, non-conductive, top overclocking, net weight 3 grams. So I believe this 3 gram bottle, I should have linked it, but y'all can find it. It's pretty easy to find on the website. I believe it's $15 or $20, I think. I mean, this is a 3 gram bottle. It's hard to know what size is what, because some people do milliliters, some do grams. It's whatever. If you were to buy this one, I'm pretty sure it's $19.99. So not terribly expensive, definitely not the most expensive stuff you can buy, and this would last you plenty of applications. As I mean, it maybe only do a few thread rippers, but if you're just doing, like today we're doing just the AM4 chip, so pretty simple. This would probably last a good dozen or so applications by my guesstimations. So your mileage may vary depending on how much you like to cake on or not. Today we'll probably use plenty. I do have Thermal Grizzly on there right now. That's what I actually have been using pretty much for everything for a while, is Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. However, I didn't run any tests on that stuff just because it's been in there for a while, and although it should be fine, if we're doing actual testing here, I want to test on fresh stuff versus fresh stuff. So we're going to pull that nice Optimus block off there and clean up the chip. See how this stuff goes on. The application is slightly more difficult since we're doing it on a vertical surface here, but this isn't my first rodeo, so we'll give it a shot. How many frogs did EK have to squeeze to get all the frog fluid? Did I put frog? No, but you called it frog at least. It's Mystic Fog, and supposedly it's from unicorns from what I've heard, so yeah, no, I don't think any frogs were harmed in the making of this. At least I hope not. I love frogs, so that'd make me sad. And yeah, this view is definitely not new by any means, but it's a very controversial coolant, which is always fun. And like I said, this is my test bench. It's basically what this is meant for, is to be abused by me with water cooling stuff. So if it destroys my loop, I just get to share it all with you, and you can enjoy the pain with me. So I hope it doesn't. I at least expect it to last a little while. And then I'll be throwing in the Mystic Fog in that loop. So we'll do that at the end. I just got to drain it out. That's just been running distilled water with some additives, so it's a pretty simple flush and fill job. I just have to be able to get it empty so you guys can come along for the ride of trying to empty a custom loop, which if you've done it before, you know it's not that easy all the time. So, oh yeah, and I have some QDCs because technically these aren't quite the right QDCs for this application. I'll share with you more why later as to why that is, but yeah, I'm going to swap those out, and I also need to put some in here, even though I don't usually swap GPUs on this thing, and definitely not blocks. So I don't know. I always wanted them, so I got them. I think a lot of us here have made those kinds of purchases before, so don't fault me too much. Hear me out. A vertical mount GPU on the test bench. I should, but like the whole reason why I set it up like this, and honestly for when I had my X99 set up, I would run it in the bottom slot because they were all by 16. So I'd run it in the bottom one just so I could throw in a graphics card like when I would get a new one, then I could test it out on the test bench. So I do actually use it for test benchy things from time to time. But yeah, people will get upset because it'd be in the bottom slot, but when you have it water cooled, you can't really put a card in when there's tubes in the way. So yeah, I did that. Now that I'm on this AM4 setup, because sadly my X99 board took a dump, so this is not coming off. Oh, it'd help if I removed all four little thumb screws for one. There we go. Yeah, see, she's a bit dried out, I would have to say. I mean, Thermal Grizzly's arguably already kind of dry. It's a tough spread in my opinion, which is why I'm excited to try this new Kingpin stuff out, because a lot of people have said that it's pretty easy to apply. So if that's the case, that'll be cool. I mean, Thermal Grizzly isn't hard by any means. There's worse stuff you could get, but you know, smooth application is never frowned upon here. I accidentally spilled some rubbing alcohol on my Singularity Res. Oh yeah, so I got oven cleaner. I was trying to strip some paint off of something. I got oven cleaner on my bottom. Well, it's a little bit everywhere over there, but the bottom pump cover there on my Protium D5 has some oven cleaner on it. So yeah, it happens. So we're just going to clean off our blocky block. I'll get the chip next. We'll try to spread this stuff. Like I said, we can swap back to the Thermal Grizzly, and I mean, whichever one's better I'll keep. But we're just going to see how this stuff goes today, what kind of temperatures I get. But like I said, I want to try some fresh Thermal Grizzly versus some fresh Kingpin. KPX is what it's called. If somebody wants to link in the chat, that'd be most appreciated. And while I have you guys' captive attention, I just got to mention, if you check the description, there's a link to the build of the month on builds.gg. So that has been going on now for like 2 weeks. I think a lot of you know that. But if you haven't, check it out. Voting has now started. So you got to get your builds in if you haven't yet. And people can vote on your build. There's already some people ranked up. So it started. Get in there, guys. Over $1,000 worth to win. And anybody can win, because there's even a random prize just for participating. So participation prizes are cool. Wow, this stuff is a little bit different color. We'll see how it goes. So they give you a little spatula. This little nice spreader. Although, I mean, these things are nice and I like when they include them. I never have much luck with them. I don't know. How about you guys? You use the spatula, or a lot of the time I'll just use my finger, although I forgot my rubber gloves, so I probably won't do that either. But I'm going to put a little bit of this down. Cleaning thermal paste off stuff is a pain in the butt. So put that down. What do you guys think? How should I apply it? What do you want to see? You want me to spread her out? Do you want me to just try to get a nice little line or maybe a cross on there? PrimoChill View not compatible with soft tubes. It's not at all. Is that one of their rules? I know there's lots of rules to it. Which is water-based fluid. I'm not sure if that should matter, but I guess if that is stated somewhere, then we're already off to a good start. I'm gonna run her anyways, and we'll definitely find out. But soft tubing shouldn't matter, especially since this is PrimoChill soft tube. So not to worry about it. Cooler Master Accessory is nice enough to put in a flat end. Yeah, that would be a little better. Like these, I do like the syringe style bottle things like this. They work all right, but yeah, there's definitely a better way. To smoosh it increases air pockets. Spread it, he says. No, Odin, it's definitely been... You should check out Gamers Nexus. They have a super nice video about like thermal paste application and how to do it. And honestly, they prove that it really doesn't make the biggest difference in the world as long as you get a decent amount on. And yeah, and obviously properly mount your cooler. You definitely want to get your cooler on tight enough. If you don't do that, then good luck to you, bud. Spread it. So we just got one saying spread it. We can go with Astro. That's fine. Should I? We'll just try sticking it on there. Let me see if I can get the camera a little closer for you guys so you can get a close-up. Let's see here. Suppose if I was really smart, I'd use the zoom feature, but that would require going back to the other computer. So, we're gonna just get a dab ski going on here. Oh, she came out quick. So, we'll try spreading that first. It's similar to Thermal Grizzly from what I can tell. See, now this is the tough part, spreading it vertical. Oh, it's definitely a little goopier than Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut, at least. I haven't tested all of Thermal Grizzly's paste, but I know for a fact that Cryonaut doesn't quite spread this easily, although it's not terrible. Cryonaut is definitely my go-to if this weren't in stock. We'll see how it goes, actually. I mean, honestly, it's got to beat out the Thermal Grizzly, in my opinion. See, the problem with using the spatula, what I hate about it is you always get, you can kind of get this little bit on the end to go down, but it's tough. It's tough, so you kind of waste a little bit, but whatever. I got 2 bottles for that reason. We can get a little more on there. We've almost got her spread, though. Ugh. Yeah, the little plunger thing always scares me because it's like there's a certain amount of force it takes, and it's so easy to just go a little bit too far. Then you got a big old mess on your hands. So let's see. We can finish. Ugh. Goopy goopy. Yeah, post in the comments what you guys do for thermal paste application. I'm typically a spreader, but honestly, like I said, the rubber glove method works really good. I suppose I could get a plastic bag and just put it on my finger, but we're using the spatula that they provided. It's starting to look better. Get on there. Stay on there. We're almost there now, boys. And girls, if there are any present. But I'm pretty sure like 99.5 of our viewer base is males, so. I think we're going to go with a little bit more. I'm going to put a little bit on the end of the spatula, just so I don't make a mess on the board. Bonus points for having sleeve cables on a test bench. I've got like multiple kinds of sleeve cables because some are from the old board, and I didn't bother taking them out. So, but yeah, those are some nice cable mod cables for sure. You got to plug them. I do like my cable mod cables. And the pro ones are very nice. My obviously the 8-pin ATX cable hole was made for a different board as well, because yeah, that's a little bit off. However it works. It's the test bench. She's survived a number of years already, so keep running her. I do still really like the Aquaro for it, so that's always nice, having that piece of tech. Okie doke. So it's pretty well spread. We got like 99% coverage. I mean, maybe even for when I do the blog testing, since I'm going to be reapplying it all over again, perhaps I will do a couple different application methods just to see if it makes a difference, and it'll keep everybody happy. But yeah, I think this way it'll be fine. So it looks like pretty good coverage. I mean, here, let's see if I can get you guys a little bit closer. You guys probably can't even tell. So how does that look, ladies and gents? Not bad, not bad. Not teabag. So we'll give this a shot. Let's put the cooler back on. We got any more questions? I'm trying to squeeze out every degree of difference to max FPS in Minecraft. That's fun, dude. Is that what you're doing this weekend? Normal thermopaste, wing it. Liquid metal, wing it and everything will die. That's so true. I spread over IHS/die completely. Yeah, I quite often do that method. However, like I said, I don't really use the spatula, but with the Kingpin thermopaste, it wasn't too bad. It took me a few minutes there. You guys saw me struggle a little bit, but wasn't terrible. I've had worse thermal paste application experiences in my life. So already I would have to say +1 for application. It's good to go. Now we'll see how it actually does. So what have you guys been up to with your builds lately? Like Astro mentioned, he was asking about 30 series, if anybody has got any of those. And why can't I screw this guy on? Please, sir. There we go. Anybody got one of those coming with a block and whatnot, or at least got a 30 series or 3000 series, whatever you want to say, on the way yet, or in their system? Fun new gear. I trust you to butter my toast after that. Dude, that's where you get your practice, boys and girls. Gotta butter the toast properly. So we're getting her pretty tight. Don't think you have to go too crazy. So I like to do the even torque method. There we go. So that's pretty nice and tight. Hook her back up to the water. It is basically just distilled water in there. Oh, I guess I'll just test them both with fog, probably. We'll be doing more testing. Like I said, today we're just throwing her on there, seeing how she works. I can't see why it won't work, but oh yeah. So this test bench is really handy in the fact that I do not have the power button wired up. So hold on just a jiffy here while I get something to short that. Here we go. Little audio jack. Let's turn her on. There we go. Good old-fashioned startup. Can't hate on that. Got to tear apart my loop to clean it once I get my parts from you guys. Ooh, thanks for the order, man. Had air bubble on the CPU block that got nasty over time. Yeah, that's never any fun. I think I gotta inspect my other CPU block on my main rig. It almost looks like I'm having the same sort of issue a little bit. It looks like there's something going on. Either it's just a bubble that looks funny, or like you said, you got a bubble and then stuff died there or something. I don't know. I hope it's not too extreme. But yeah, good luck with yours. I hope it's not too extreme either. Okay, my 1080 Ti still runs the stuff I use. Oh yeah, it looks like we're doing a Windows update. I'm being forced to, so bear with me, folks. Yeah, still works. Yeah, that's how I feel, dude. I bought a 2080 Ti last year. I didn't buy it yesterday or nothing. Bought it last year, and that's been plenty fine for me as of late. I'm not any kind of hardcore gamer or nothing. So it's been working. I like the 28 Ti. I put that Alpha Cool block on it recently, which is nice. I've been liking what Alpha Cool's been putting down lately, guys. How about you? Have you noticed the newer Alpha Cool blocks? I mean, if you guys are at all a little bit older water coolers, you'll remember what they used to have, which was they weren't ugly, but I think they were definitely beauties in the eye of the beholder on that one. So I've really been liking the new blocks, though. I like the one on my card, at least. Performs as good as I'd expect a block to. And still waiting on my Optimus 2080 Ti block. So I emailed him this week to see where it is. No reply yet. But we did get their Threadripper blocks in last week, and we do get, I think every once in a while we get a few more of their CPU blocks. So like that AM4 one, and then we have Intel ones, their Foundation and their Signature. That one's the Signature. I have a Signature on my PC. I think I have a Foundation somewhere, maybe. I don't know. So let's get some Real Bench going. I always like Real Bench. So you guys can check this out. Oh, I forgot to hook up the mini monitor thing. I believe this still works. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. But I do have a screen to display temps. I guess the Aquaro does too. But I like to see actual CPU temp, which Real Bench can do for me. However, I think I'll log it with hardware monitor. Ooh, I wish I hooked up a keyboard to have hardware monitor on here. Oh yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Let me run this. Run. What's your guys' favorite benchmark stress test type deal to check your new gear out? Obviously, if it's a GPU, you're not using this. I mean, you can, but it's not the best. I don't think. There's better. Oh, it crashed. Darn it. Bear with me, folks. Sorry. Software has never been my friend. Not sure why, it just is not. So, yeah, I wish I had another monitor, but we'll be able to check it at the end at least. So we've got all the cores and everything. This is a 2600, Ryzen 5 2600. It's all stock speeds and everything, no crazy overclocks or nothing. I mean, it's a 2600. I think you can. I'm not a huge Ryzen person. Obviously, I have both Intel and Ryzen, and AMD. But honestly, I haven't been playing with a lot of overclocks for quite some time. So I'm just gonna do the minimum stress test, basically 15 minutes, up to 4 gig of memory. So I mean, we don't really need to test memory too much. Getting the controller to heat up is good, but yeah. So we'll start that up. Unigine Superposition, nice. The Ancient Gods DLC comes out in 20. So this is gonna run for 15 minutes, and then we'll check the temperatures. In that time, like I said, we can keep going with the questions. I'm really glad y'all have made it. Thank you all for those of you who are here and chatting it up. It's nice to see you folks. Definitely don't mind asking any questions. If you guys are thinking about a new upgrade or purchase for your loop, feel free to ask me any questions about some parts or whatever if you've got some questions. Happy to answer them. It's stock things Matt can say about his CPU, but not his cars. Yeah, I mean, at some point I'm going to need a stock car too, just because race cars aren't too great. But that's just it. Like, lately, I mean, really what I do most on my PC, my personal PC, which I use for work too, obviously, besides just this one, is Fusion 360. I mean, like I said, I play little games, but nothing extreme. But I use Fusion 360 to draw. But I'm gonna, if anybody knows of a multi-core platform or program, I mean, for 3D modeling, I'm gonna look into SolidWorks. I've used both in the past, Autodesk and SolidWorks. But yeah, so Fusion 360 only uses one core, I found out, which is just superb for getting things done. So I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, I guess the overclock helps a little bit since I am only using one core, but I had some BIOS issues this week, so I had to reset my BIOS and everything. I had to update my BIOS. I thought my Windows OS just tanked itself like it typically does for every year for me. So CPU. Oh, I'm glad I opened up the hardware info because I just realized Realbench doesn't read the temp on the. That's nice. Okay, I can pull up this. So far. Oh yeah, that's right. This is Ryzen. So what do you guys want me to tell you about the temps? Because we have a few options here. We've got CPU, which is supposedly the temperature of the die. It says T die next to it. And then it says CPU die, and then in parentheses it says average, which is slightly higher than that T die one right above it. You also have the motherboard sensor for CPU, but I think that would be the back of the socket, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm no fucking motherboard wizard, but yeah, the CPU for the motherboard sensor, I believe, is the back, because it's significantly lower. So right now at T-die, we're at 43.3, and then CPU die average is 43.8, hitting 44, I think, yeah, 44.4. Let me grab my thermometer over here so we can get the ambient temperature. We need that. I gotta grab a pen and paper so we can write these down. I'll make a spreadsheet and do some graphs and fun stuff like that later when I do the blog, but for now we'll just write them down. We're 3 minutes in, so I'm glad to have you folks. Oh yeah, that's for the other thing. So if you guys got any questions, like I said, keep shooting them my way. The build of the month, if you got any questions about that, I can maybe answer some. I know some people have been like trying to add some builds, and some part, they don't have every single part. Builds.gg has a lot of parts, however, they don't have them all. If that's the case and it's nothing like crazy or nothing, or a ton of parts aren't missing, I would just say skip the part for now. You can like make a request to have it added, and they will add it as soon as they can. However, it does take them a little bit of time. They're human beings, so give them some time. But yeah, just add it without that part, and then you can enter the contest. If you want to vote, I don't believe you need to enter a build. However, the way the random prize works is I think it's 5 or 10, I think it's every 10 votes. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's every 10 votes you get entry into the random prize giveaway, which is a $150 EK gift card and a bunch of swag goodies, all that good stuff. So every 10 votes, every 10 times you vote on someone's build, you get an entry into that. And I believe they said if you enter a build into the contest, you get 5 free entries into the random contest. So there's really no reason not to add a build, guys. Even if it's some air-cooled or, mess like this that's soft tube and goofy stuff, just add it. I mean, go for it, guys. Worst you could do is you could win, So give it a shot. Lots to do. Remember when I lived that AIO life? One day I started it up. CPU was at 85 plus, and I said bye. I realized the pump died. Yeah, I've ran some AIOs, and I have used an AIO. I think I still have it. It's in the shop, I believe. Is Alpha Cool's AIO type deal. It's more of a custom loop, to be honest, because it uses like fittings and regular blocks and stuff like that. And there's like I don't know if it's a D5 or not, but there's a pretty decent pump built into it. I think it's the Ice Wolf is what that is. That was really nice, actually, and it was a pretty, what was it? It was either a 240 or a 280, I believe, the one I got, and it far surpassed this custom loop. This is 240 mil rad. It's an ancient radiator, however, the technology has not changed. 60 mil thick with some Corsair MLs. I think I put a fan curve. I should have put a fan curve on it. It's getting a little loud, but I think that's the way she goes. We're sitting at 45.5 and 45.7. Those ones are kind of evening out now, that die and the average die. So I take it it's pretty much the same thing. So yeah, she's run a little quick. She's a little dusty and dingy, but she's my test bench. She's working. I really like the Aquarel. I used to have the screen going, which is a nice, like, fancy way to do it, but dang, like, if there's anything that I would say if you guys are into custom loops and, like, controlling it, monitoring it, all that good stuff, there's nothing better than an Aquarel. So, and you actually don't need to get one, like, with a screen and have a 5 1/4 bay. I mean, clearly I didn't have a 5 1/4 bay and I made it work. But you don't have to do that. They have models where you just plug it in USB, and then I don't know if they have an overlay, but I know, like, they have a little suite. Their software is really nice. Honestly, that's some software that I don't mind using is Aquaros, or Aqua Suite. Ugh, if I could talk. Oof. Give me a sec, boys. Okay, Odin says, I got a question about the site. The default amount of search results is 12, but you can change it to 96. Why just have it show 96 by default? Mainly just for, like, quick loading, especially, like, when you first, like, get into, like, a category. If you guys are searching for anything, I highly recommend starting with at least, like, the category. You can go to the top left there, shop by category. At least start there. Use some filters if you can to narrow it down. And then after you do that, switch it to the 96 option. A lot of sites do that, though. I mean, obviously, most people like seeing all the products they can in one scroll, so that's the most ideal. Or like we said, when you're just hopping between the first few pages when you're searching, having only 12 products load helps a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if you guys know the site at all, it's not so great as it is, so don't try to make it do anything extra. So, yeah, and for just or even mobile, I think mobile, it would be really rough if you tried that, or no, mobile doesn't even load the same. You just have to click on load more, I believe. So, we are 8 minutes in, halfway there, folks. Whoa. Oh, we're getting a copyright struck. Figure as much. The old site version was really slow at changing between them. New site is much better. Yeah, most days it's been a lot quicker lately, I've noticed, but we're still working on a lot of major changes because it needs a lot of work. So we appreciate all you loyal customers, or even all the new ones. We like you both, but we appreciate you bearing with us with that, because it is a struggle. I use it every day, so you don't got to tell me when you say the website sucks. I know it does. So. But yeah, we appreciate you guys' patience with that. If you are ever having issues, just hit up sales@performancepcs.com. You can usually give us a call. We don't have too many people able to answer phones, but we do answer them as much as we can. Emails, though, are by far the best way. We are anytime 9 to 5 Eastern. We'll get back to you like as soon as possible. Duke's really quick about that kind of stuff, and so is Dave. So don't be afraid to reach out if you're having some troubles. Stuff happens all the time on the site. Card issues, discount codes, what have it. It happens. Get on it. His support email is slacking. Nora, you don't even email me, so what are you talking about? Yeah. So, yeah, we're 9 minutes in. We're still sitting. Now we're at 46.4-ish on the die. I did grab the thermometers, so we're sitting at 23.4 for ambient. Do I have the fan speed? Oh, my Aquarium might read out the fan speed if I set it up right. Fan, we're at, I think that's max. Somebody can tell me, but do Corsair MLs, the old ones, the ancient versions, I guess now, by today's standards, max out at 2200? Or they're at like 2100 RPM. They're going pretty quick. They are not quiet by any means. I can fully well hear. Oh, actually, you guys are like right next. Should I move this a little bit so you guys don't have to like suffer with just fan noise? I don't know if the mic isn't too bad. You guys have me get a new mic, so I hope I got the right one. Bro, can you turn on RTX noise reduction on? I wish. D&D holding down the fort. Yeah, that's true, dude. They do. 5 minutes left. Yeah, who's got plans this weekend for playing with computers? I've got a fun new thing with my build that I'm working on. Can't share with you guys yet, but it'll be soon. Next couple weeks. Next week I'm going down to Florida on Friday. No, Thursday technically, but I'll be there on Friday. So next Friday. We'll probably stream. I think we'll try to stream. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. We'll let you know. get in the group or in the Discord or both. Both is great. They're below, link below. Join up there. We'll have posts about it when we'll go live next week. We should, though, be having another video. Garrett's gone this week, if you guys didn't know. Hello, one question. What is the brand of the reservoir mount used for the red one? So they're both the same. They're Singularity Computers. These are the ethereal single, what do they call I don't know if he actually makes these kind anymore, but they're Singularity Computers. They still make reservoir mounts similar that are actually better. These aren't the best ones. They are nice, and they do have a nice aesthetic. It's the same as the top one, though. I painted that one white. This one is black with dust on it. That's the color scheme of most of this build. Black with dust on it. So, but yeah, those are nice mounts. They still make really nice 60 mil reservoir mounts. They're all for 60 mil tube reses. It's a Protium res. Core, I believe. Core, yeah, that's it. Thank you. The real Adam Merckx. You're the best, man. Bidding DDR2 this weekend. Oh, that's interesting. What's the purpose to that? Why are you bidding your DDR2 RAM? I'm intrigued as to your reasoning. Just for fun and giggles? Or do you have an intended purpose for this RAM? Thanks, they look nice. Yeah, no problem. If you can always email me and I can like link you them. It's a little tough for me to search it all up right now. However, if you can't find them, because our website isn't always the easiest, to say the least, I'll help you find them. I can get you links for stuff. But like I said, I think those specific ones are discontinued. We might still have some stock. Like, we'll hold on to anything we have left. We'll sell it to you if we got it. So take a look for Core. Otherwise, just search up Singularity Computers reservoir mounts. He's got a whole bunch of different varieties of them now, and I say they all work great. So if you have a 60 mil tube res, it's the way to go. Whatever happened to the Case Labs TX10 build that you guys did a long time ago? I'm pretty sure it's still around. It might be the server PC, like for like the website you're browsing on right now is hosted on it. Don't quote me. I'm sure it's still around though. If you guys were able to tour PPCs, not that it's too much to see, but there's at least everybody's got an interesting computer there. Kind of fun to walk around, and they're all previous show builds from like CES or Computex. We don't always go to those events. However, companies usually have us do a build. Like Alpha Cool usually has us do a build for them and send it out there. So we got a few Alpha Cool custom rigs out there, and maybe that Case Labs as well. Had to go into the code and delete the element to click my shipping option. That's an interesting one. I haven't had that one myself, but if it happens again, shoot us an email, or if it causes an issue with your order, don't be afraid to reach out, man. LGA 775 OCing question mark. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I got you. That's fun. What are you doing with the 775 rig? Just seeing how far you can get it to go? Not a bad way to spend the weekend. Oh, look at that. We got to our 15 minutes. So, let's write this down, ladies and gents. We've got, for the max value that the CPU die got to, we're going to use the average. I'll stick to the CPU die average one, so this middle one. Max was 47.4. So that's max. And average, I'm going to grab that too, is 44.8. Average. And then we have ambient at 23.4 still. So, there we go, folks. Let's shut her down. Throw some Thermal Grizzly back on her. See how she does. I mean, in all reality, I think for when I actually do the whole write-up on this thermal paste for you guys and do a blog or whatever, maybe I'll even do a video. We'll see. You can always watch this. But when I do that, I will more than likely do a little longer test. Although this isn't like a huge loop, so 15 minutes should be plenty to get the coolant heated up and at a level temperature. It seemed to level off at the end there. And we'll put the Thermal Grizzly through the same test, so should have at least a decent little trial here. No Gamers Nexus official scientifics to this one, but should be legit. And I am by no means here saying that Thermal Grizzly, Cryonaut, or any of their thermal pastes are bad. I just think this is, I don't know, for the longest time, this was considered one of the best, if not the best. So, I don't know. I feel like it's a fair fight. Not that it's a fight. We're just checking it out. Okay, if this guy doesn't shut off soon, I'm just going to tank her, because it's not in Windows anymore. What are you doing? This is my life with software. Okay, I've been patient enough. Good night. Sleep tight. So, move my thermometer here and our writing stuff. Let's pull this bad boy off. Remind me to give you a crash course with Excel. I mean, I'm not a complete noob at Excel. I've always really liked Excel, to be honest. Oh no, did that actually happen? Son of a bisquick. My post loosened up, I think. One of them did. It's mighty unfortunate. We may have to go to the back side. No. Yeah, we do. And I think, yes, of course I put all the screws back in this thing. Why wouldn't I? You know? So, bear with me for a second here, folks. If you guys got any more questions, I'm going to try to read them. I'll remove all the screws. Well, apparently there's not one on that corner. Try this one. Sweet, I live in Vero Beach. I'd love to stop by and see it live. Yeah, for sure. So right now you definitely can't just because of the whole coronavirus stuff. Although I believe we're still doing store pickup, but we like just set it outside for you to grab, like a curbside type deal. So you can still do that if you're close and you want to make an order, don't want to pay for shipping, you're going to swing by. That works. And we've technically never really done too much of tours. Several years ago, if you want to go see an old cringe video on the channel, when I first started working for PBCs, I did a little video walkthrough of the place. Not like super in depth or nothing, but you can see it that way. Not too much has changed. It's just a warehouse full of stuff for computers, and some of it is ancient. And I seem to be getting outsmarted by this back panel. Oh, there we go. I am smarter than it. Woo! +1 for me. So let's see if I can just reach my hand back around here. There we go. Oh yeah, let me release the tension so it doesn't just come flying off here. Hurrah. Hurrah. There we go. I gotta get back. Get back on my screw. Very nice. Now we're getting somewhere. I did it again. Why do I always leave this one on? Am I blind? Should go get my eyes checked today. There we go. We had great coverage as far as I can see it. It pulled off this half, left this half on the cooler, but as far as I can tell, pretty good coverage. Like I said, wasn't quite as thick on the bottom. That's really actually kind of interesting how it gets like veiny. Weird surface tension on that stuff. So yeah, let's clean this up. Get some of the good old Thermal Grizzly on there. See how she runs. I have a feeling it's not going to be a major difference. I've heard good reviews about the new Kingpin stuff, but I don't know. It seems like the days of like really comparing thermal paste is kind of gone. I know people do in-depth reviews and stuff of it, which is good. I like that. That's the kind of stuff I get into. But a lot of end users really don't see the point in spending like another, like say $20 on Kingpin thermal paste, especially like on a first build, like when most coolers come with it on or with a tube or whatever supplied with it, so they never see the point. I don't blame them because most thermal pastes these days are not at all bad. So, you know, you're gonna get maybe a few degrees if you get some more expensive stuff like it's Kingpin or Thermal Grizzly, but for most people, they don't care. And I feel like maybe it's also due to the fact that Ryzen's become so popular, and as far as I know, like I said, I'm a Ryzen noob, I guess. I have one, so y'all can't hate me. I have an Intel 2 though, so I guess you can if you want. I don't really care. But yeah, I don't think a ton of people overclock Ryzen. That's right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. If y'all are overclocking the crap out of them, I guess I missed it. But as far as I know, at least with the first gen, like you really couldn't. So I think people lost a little bit of interest. And it's not like, I don't know. Overclocking is definitely fun. I have spent my fair share of late nights, you know, trying to get the best out of a system with some overclocks because it is fun. However, I think it's not quite as popular as it used to be. Like back in the day, I feel like a lot of people overclocked because stock stuff didn't come like as it could have been. It was better than what people sold it as. So, oops, sorry for the shaky shakes. This thermal paste is getting all over my hands though. Really messed up without getting the rubber gloves today. Let's get some more paper towels at least. Clean this block up the rest of the way. We can't do her dirty like this. Okay. Sadly, no, nothing does. I miss K-Slab so much. Anything comparable to them besides Lee and Lee? I wouldn't say like directly comparable, but solid. Like if you're looking for a good old-fashioned American-made steel case, Sliger, S-L-I-G-E-R. We sell them at PPCs. We can even get them custom powder-coated for you if you so choose. They're really cool. They're not, none of them are quite like, they don't have one nearly the size of some of K-Slab's offerings. I know K-Slab's had smaller cases too. However, they're really modular. They have a lot of different options for them. Like as far as like mounting hardware for your drive bays, your whatever you want. They have a bunch of options. So that's really cool to see. Like I said, all made in America. Made out of nice, good steel. Not positive. Well, yeah, it should be American steel now that there's tariffs. But yeah, so definitely a great brand to check out. If you're looking for like a monster case though, like K-Slabs used to have to like do the sickest loop you've ever seen, then all you really got I think is kind of like Thermal Take. Their TH10, was it? No, that's the K-Slabs one. It's the W100. I think they had like a T something or other too. So let me see here. Let me grab that other spatula. We'll do the same application method, or at least I'll try. Here we go. I'm going to break the other spatula out of here. If someone wanted to, they could look up, I'm pretty sure they should have the actual thermal conductivity of it. I should have looked it up before I started. But I would actually like to know the number. Maybe I'll look it up while we're running this other test. Someone remind me to look up the thermal conductivity. I know Thermal Grizzly lists theirs on their sites and stuff. I'm sure Kingpin does too. Oh, we need the spatula. There we go. Thanks, Kingpin. So yeah, I guess I would like to know the numbers at least to see which one should win. See, it is pretty similar. Like as long as you have your cryonaut at room temperature, I don't think it's too bad. It's not teabag. So let's see how this far spreads. You guys want to watch me suffer through this one too? I'll let you watch, or I'll try at least. There you go. Hope I don't bump you too much. And I guess the CPU is definitely warm after that, so oof, I need to get my paper towel back under here in case I get a drip going. Here. Try to check a question here in a minute too. I'm sorry if I missed one. Just spam it. I'll get to it in a sec. I gotta grab a paper towel, just in case. This stuff is definitely like, I don't know if thicker is the right word, but that's what it kind of feels like when you do a direct comparison. Oh, I wish I didn't buy the cheap paper towels. Silly me. Trying to save money. Oh well. So yeah, it's definitely more pasty. than the Kingpin, which is not all bad at all. Just takes a little more effort to spread. So, see, this is what I hate about the spatulas. It's so hard to get it off. The spatula, it likes sticking. Put a little more on here. If I use too much, fight me. Like I said, there's plenty of... Oh, I dribbled it. Ugh, what a mess. There's plenty of videos on both application and amounts to use. We're not gonna... Y'all can debate it civilly in the comments. I'll go back and forth with you, but yeah, that's not what today's about. Oof. I'm butchering this one. You guys are enjoying this, I hope. The Thermal Grizzly is definitely more difficult. Like, no lie. We had a good patch going. Maybe I just need to put some more on the CPU. It likes to stick to the spatula. That's why I never really use the Thermal Grizzly spatulas too much. Obviously these are the same, just clear instead of black, but plastic spatula. I'm trying to check a question here. I'm just so focused on not covering my board in thermal paste. It's such a pain to clean. There's a spot there that I want to cover. Come on. There we go. Just had to take a different angle. Yeah, this is taking a bit longer than the KPX. So, like I said before, +1 for KPX on that easy application. I've almost got it now though. They're basically the same. KPX is a little better sub-ambient. Yeah, so that's what I think is what I heard basically. I forget where I read it. But, I mean, if you guys know who Kingpin is, he's a big dude in overclocking and everything. EVJ even makes cards for him. So he does a lot of LN2 as well. So supposedly, and I think that's why it's not quite as dry, or, I mean, it's not like this stuff is dry, but it's not quite as thick. And it doesn't seem to dry out quite as quickly as Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut does. So I think it works. That helps with the sub-ambient stuff. Like somebody mentioned, I'm sorry I missed your name, but somebody did mention that, which, yeah, I believe you're correct. So we'll see if it actually performs better. I mean, if it performs better on a regular, because this is obviously just a regular loop, we're working with above ambient temperatures here. So we'll see. It'd be cool if it does work better than Thermal Grizzly in both conditions. But you don't always get your cake and get to eat it too, so... Oh, I'm just going to keep using some of this stuff. There's some on the spatula, but I can't get it to stick to the CPU, and there's that one little side there. It's a little bit over here. Needs more. More goop. More goop. We're almost there, folks. Thank you for being so patient and so friendly today with me. It's been lovely chatting with you all. You've had some great questions too. There we go. Get a little more over here. If it'll let me. There we go. She's pretty well pasted by my standards of pasting. Set that aside. You guys can double check for me. Agree or disagree. Is it good enough? Not too bad? Yes? I hope so. So I'm probably just going to run it. There's a decent delay today, I've noticed. So let's get this guy hooked back up. And the show on the road. Like I said, I'm going to look up the actual thermal conductivity once we get back to testing. And then after we run this, we can drain this clear coolant out. The thing with the view, and I'll show you guys the process. But I forgot actually. I could have gotten ahead of it, but I did kind of want to show you guys anyways. There's probably an older stream or video on it that I did in the past, but for View and all of PrimoChill's coolants, really, they have a pretty specific prep guide, and part of that is Primo Prep, which takes 3 days to run. 72 hours you got to run that stuff. So we'll get that started today. I'll show you how that works. Pretty easy, nothing crazy, but yeah, we're gonna get that process started today, at the very least. Let's get this block tightened up. There we go. Get her hooked up. And boot it up. Where's my starter? Here we go. Perfect. Back in action. What do you guys think? Who's voting for KPX? Who's voting for Thermal Grizzly? I want to hear it. I'm rooting for KPX just because I like a new guy, but we'll see what happens. Finally ready to delid my chip. Nice, Carlito. That's my favorite, actually. If I do anything anymore with CPUs, delid. For sure. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. The results you get usually are well worth it, in my opinion. Clean up my work area. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Oh man, all the junk. Let's get out of there. We've got real bench over here. Get her going. Oh, you guys might not be able to see it. That's okay. Join me now. Real bench is up. Let's get some hardware info. Hardware info 64. Yes. Run. Move these guys over. You guys love my fancy test bench monitor. It's like a whole maybe 720p. Pretty good stuff. Clearly I do all my gaming here. Just kidding. So, stress test. 15 minutes, 4 gigs of RAM. Who's ready? Set your marks. We got the same ambient temp to start with, at least. We're at 23.4 for y'all really paying that much attention. 28% humidity. Let's show on the road. Here we go, folks. Start. And we're off to the races. So right away, we're back up to 44 degrees on that die. Good stuff, folks. So, should we look that up? Let's check this out. Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. Let's check out the thermal conductivity. Cryonaut. Please translate. I can't speak German. Sorry, guys. It says they used to have the number. Here we go. Thermal conductivity 12.5. Oh, I forget what that is. The actual, what is it called again? The measurement of thermal conductivity. W over MK. Forget. But let's check some Kingpin KPX. Ooh. My computer just pushed some big old bubbles through. Nice. Kingpin KPX. Oh, this is Amazon. Amazon don't have no info. Let's go on Kingpin's website. Here we go. What does Kingpin have to say about their product? Oh, not much. Well then. Is there any... Do we have any info on it? Oh boy. Does anybody know thermal conductivity of Kingpin KPX? Kingpin KPX. Oh, don't click it. It's loading. This is what we got here, boys. And I mean, we pretty much always just copy paste what they say. So yeah, it seems to be the case. Let's see if Google knows. Thermal conductivity. Quick overview on YouTube. Some people got some. The best thermal paste in the best quantity. Kingpin by Lumi. That's an old review. Not finding it, boys. So let's check this Reddit post. Nothing. Okay, well, somebody gets a cookie if they can tell me the thermal conductivity of Kingpin KPX. Where'd you guys go? Where'd my chat go? There they are. Let's get back to it. Okay. So, yeah, no info on that. We're 3 minutes in. Let's talk a little bit about these quick disconnects. So we have Coolant's QD3s, that's what these are. These are technically the 3/8, 5/8 compression fitting version. So it'll go straight on this size tubing here, and then it's got the compression collar, so tubing on that side. Clearly this is the female side, so these are both sold separately. You use them together to form a quick disconnect. Male side, it's also got a compression fitting on the other side for 3/8, 5/8. They do have quite a few different sizes. QD3 is one of their newer ones. QD2 is their old stuff. They do have some QD4, but they're a little bit different. Overall though, I've been running a lot of Coolants QDCs. I've got some different size ones on the back there that are like panel style, and that's basically what these are too up here, which is why I'm replacing them. They have barbs on them, but this is a panel threading and nut, so it's technically a panel mount one. I think I ordered them by accident a long time ago. Like I said, I want to throw these in here just to have them, so if I want to, I can pull a card real easy. That's always fun. These are definitely the best quick disconnects I've come to find. I've tried a few. All of them work pretty well. However, Coolant's for sure has the biggest variety as far as different styles. Like I said, there's panel mount ones, there's barb ones, they have compression ones like this. There's all kinds of different ones. Just search up Coolant's QD3 in the search box. You'll get a bunch of them. Like I said, QD3 is the most variety and the most modern. QD4 is also a good option, but a little bit less of a variety as the QD3 line. But yeah, they're the patented no spill fitting. As you guys saw, I don't think I even had one drip. Sometimes you'll get like a little droplet of fluid like on where the QDC actually like makes a seal. But it's usually never enough to even like drip down. Like as you guys saw, I did it right with my graphics card, although it would just go on the back plate, no big deal. Either way, it doesn't drip. It's good stuff, no spill. They aren't the cheapest fittings, but you get what you pay for. They come in black and chrome like this, or nickel plated, whatever you want to say. Definitely quality fittings. Really nice stuff. They're my favorite. I'm going to throw some on there, and that'll make a whole bunch of QDCs in total on this rig. The ones on the back are meant so I can just throw on another component. If I wanted to test, like, say, another radiator, slap it on there with the QDCs. Pretty slick stuff. I think I have some old videos up on the channel for that build, the test bench here. If you guys want to check that out. So, how's everybody doing? I think we have a few new faces. I asked this before, but I'll ask it again since they said there might be new people. Anybody got some new stuff coming in this weekend? You've been playing with your computers. Someone said they're going to be overclocking and binning some legacy hardware this weekend. Sounds fun. Carlos has been working on his computer, I know. He's been hard at it. What about the rest of y'all? Anybody else got some fun plans? We're at 7 minutes, ladies and gents. Sitting at 44.7 right now, which is right in line with the other average. So, if you guys wanted an update, there you go. Did my chat break? Watts per meter Kelvin. Thank you, Manny White. You deserve a cookie. For sure. That makes perfect sense. Watts per meter Kelvin. I like you, Manny. Good guy. Science facts. Dealing with schematics and circuit design documents right now. I mean, that always seems interesting to say the least. There's more boring stuff to look at. Could have to like read poetry or something, but I assume that's work stuff, which isn't always the most enjoyable. But I hope you get off soon, at least for the weekend. Is anybody at least getting out, doing anything fun? It doesn't have to be computer stuff. What are y'all up to? I'm gonna try to work on my garage some more, so I can have a shop at my house here. Still haven't gotten that done yet, but soon you guys will see a bunch more shop content. Well, this isn't a terrible setup. I think I've done this a time or two now here, streamed in the office with the test bench. It is what it's made for, so. Yes, working off in a few hours. Same here, bud. Working as well. And I guess I'm never technically off the clock. However, probably gonna go play some poker tonight. Poker night at a friend's, so. You can try to do that. Probably just lose some money, but whatever. Thanks again, guys, for stopping in. All you lovely folks. You are great. You are what make this place tick. All you wonderful customers and viewers. And since it's been a little bit, I'll mention again, sorry if you already heard it before, but the Build of the Month is live. Voting has started. Link in the description below, so definitely hit that up. Get entered in that. Like I said, voting started, so there's still like not quite 2 weeks left. So you still have time to enter, but now it's basically the sooner you enter, the better chance you have of getting more votes, obviously. Since voting has started, there's already, I don't know, I think there's at least close to 100 or so builds in there. Not to discourage anybody, but yeah, so get in there as soon as you can, for sure. Over $1,000 worth of prizes available, and anyone can win. There's even a random prize, so if you just participate, you'll be good to go. Oh, now that's fun. Yeah, it's not too bad. Good group of old friends from the small town. Nothing crazy. It's like $5 games, so it's not like anybody gets rich. That's for sure. It seems like we have raised the temperature in here, though. It could be part of the light and the fact that we're running several computers, because before it was 23.4. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys it started at 23.4 as well, but we're up to 23.8. I wish it would have stayed the same, because that means my math, I wouldn't have to do any math. But now we're going to have to do some quick maths once we get these numbers. We're up to 10 minutes, 2/3 of the way. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. Like I said, I'll be doing the CPU loop drains pretty well since my ports are down. Key tip of the day: if you want your radiator to drain, ports down, for sure. So it should drain all right, as long as I can get 90% of the water out. I'll run it. In my opinion, testing coolant like that, although it's not perfect, technically the manufacturer could just write it off. If I say I had an issue, I came and complained, and then I told them, oh yeah, there was a little bit of distilled left in there, they could tell you that, oh, that's why it failed. However, in my opinion, a coolant really shouldn't, if it's just diluted a slight bit. that shouldn't cause a failure by any means. And I feel like unless you're starting with a brand new loop, most people do not start with an empty loop, especially back in the day when we used to always test with water. You did a leak test with water. So there's always, you always had water in your loop at first. Or if you even just clean your loop when you first build it, it's never a bad thing to do. I definitely at least recommend giving your components an individual flush before you start into your adventure. But yeah, there'll be a little bit of coolant, or not coolant, it's just distilled water. I've flushed it through, so there's a slight amount of distilled water in there. I think it just makes it a little more realistic, because all you folks are probably going to use it in that similar fashion. So I might as well test it how you guys are going to use it. Life ain't perfect, hate to tell you. We're at 12 minutes here, and it's looking about the same temps once again, like we all probably guessed. Nobody wants to place their bets anymore. We just got one for Kingpin. Should probably put KPX by this. Check out our sweet, I think they're Halloween, as far as I can tell. Halloween pens. Place an order. You'll probably get one. And we should have like a Halloween discount. We usually have some fun stuff, and Black Friday is just around the corner. We typically get like a bunch of giveaway stuff for Black Friday. So, and we do a bunch of sales. So there'll be all kinds of sales discounts and giveaways. So be sure to tune in to all this stuff. A bunch of links down below. You guys can tune in to all that stuff if you're not a part of all that already. But yeah, we're almost there. Almost there. And then, like I said, we'll throw in the EK fog. It's not going to be that cool in this loop. I do understand that. I could get some more light somewhere, although I don't really know. Like, I put an LED strip underneath, but it's kind of died out over the years. There's not really a place for an LED strip in a P5, although I could hook up a strip at a later time, like just shine it for you guys who just want to see how that looks. My object of testing it, though, is just to see how it reacts in a loop, a used loop, not a brand new one. I mean, it's not dirty by any means. There's no issues with it. No incompatibilities. It's copper radiator, copper block, D5 pump. So, simple stuff. That's both hard and soft tube. None of the runs are too entirely crazy, though. The back gets a little goofy in there, but it's not bad. It's not teabag. It's a pretty realistic test. That's why I built the bench. On a monsoon coupler with 2 ports, which one is inlet and which one is outlet, or does it not matter? Just got a bunch of stuff from you guys. On the coupler, so are you talking about like the piece, like the Durlin piece, kind of like a pump top that goes in between your 2 tubes that you like screw it into, basically, with the 2 ports? If that's the case, those are both technically in, because it's not on the pump. The only ones that are be out are going to be right on the pump top. Like, obviously it's not the same pump top as this one. However, that's where your out will be. I forget on a monsoon how many out ports it has. However, the info online should tell you, or it should come with a manual. If you can't find any of that, my email is below in the description. So if you're having trouble setting your new monsoon pump res up, if it is a pump res, let me know. I'll help you through that as soon as I can. So there we go. We got our test done. 15 minutes of that. Where I'm going to write down the ambient because it got up to 24.1 sitting here. I'll show y'all. 24.1. We have quick maths to do now. Lame. Oh well. Math is good. 24.1. We have a maximum average CPU die of 46.6. And an average of 43.2. And that was Thermal Grizzly. So here's the numbers right off the bat. However, we have ambient. So if you're ever actually gonna, if you guys ever want to test stuff and actually do a legitimate test, you have to factor in ambient temperature no matter what. So how you do that now is normally you, like if you're making a graph, you would put these equal to 20. So you would have to subtract 4.1 off of each of these temperatures and 3.4 off of each of these. However, we're just going to do a direct comparison, use 23.4, subtract 0.7 from each of these. So, technically, the Thermal Grizzly did 45.9 for some quick maths there, and 42.5. So those are numbers in the box are the actual converted temperatures to the Kingpin. So if you guys couldn't tell, Thermal Grizzly won. I was wrong. But not by much. Like I said before, guys, this stuff isn't too crazy. With this quick test here, one stress test, we got a difference of 1.5 degrees for a max temp, and then overall average, it was a difference of 2.3 degrees. So, I mean, it's not nothing, but at the end of the day, the performance really ain't going to be too different on your machine. Yes, you could squeeze out a little bit more of your chip with the Thermal Grizzly, but KPX was great, easy to use, easy to apply, performs plenty well enough in my opinion. I will check it out more, do a more in-depth testing and review of that later on, but there you guys go. You saw it here, live. I didn't mess with nothing. So hopefully that's good enough for you folks. Let's try to drain this clear liquid. It's just distilled water. And we're going to try to drain the red stuff. However, we're just throwing in Primo Prep. There's a little bit of the stuff in there. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. I might try to flush a little bit of distilled through it at first, at least. So let's shut this bad boy down so we can get to work on draining it. Shut down. So yeah, the stuff up here was, like I said, distilled water. Before I flushed it today, it had the Mayhem's additives in it. Now it's basically just distilled water. The bottom, EK Cryofuel Scarlet Red. It's been running for, I'm pretty positive, well over a year now. I'd have to go back and check the videos, but I'm pretty sure it's probably getting closer to 18 months at this point. At least a good 14, 16 months. And it has changed a little bit, although as of late I haven't been running this loop nearly as much as I have in the past. Although I have tested this coolant as far as letting loop sit and then turning it on and having it run for a while, seeing how it reacts with that. Overall, I'd have to say it's really good stuff. Like I said before at the beginning, I've never seen any kind of colored coolant. Even the clear stuff discolors the clear tubing eventually. Clear tubing just discolors in light, so it's tough. But yeah, any pastel coolant I've seen or used at least always gets a little cakey on your soft tubing eventually. I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I haven't really seen a coolant that doesn't do that. That's pastel or opaque, whatever you want to call it. So we getting her drained. I cannot suggest applying to the IHS. Oh, do you have it? Do D-lid to use conducto not or applying to the IHS is fine. Yeah, really you don't want to put it on the IHS. It's really not going to make that much of a difference at the end of the day anyways. You may squeak out another degree or two with that, but the issue with that, unless you have like your PC sitting flat, the stuff is really liquid. It's liquid metal. So you have a potential of having it drip onto your stuff. And that stuff is toxic. It's literally toxic. So it's liquid gallium. It's not good stuff for people or parts besides your actual CPU die. So yeah, you really want to stick to liquid metal for D-lid applications, direct die stuff or D-lid. And yeah, like Manny said, Ryzen soldered. So honestly, the whole direct die stuff has been a little bit fallen to the wayside as far as I know. I've done it plenty in the past. Previous Intel generations really benefited from it, although even they're soldering stuff now too. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a dying art, I think. It's also conductive. Yeah, it's not good. It's corrosive, conductive, all bad stuff for your computer as well as yourself. So do not ingest. Do not get on skin. Do not get on parts. I'm pretty sure we're getting her kind of drained. I want to get another piece of tubing here so I can get the blower action going. Where is a piece of scrap? Here we go. Do I have another fitting? I need a fitting. Oh boy, I have one. Imagine that. So, if y'all ever drain your loop. This isn't exactly like the official standard way to get your loop empty. However, I can't say it's all that harmful. Just try not to spit in your loop if you guys do that. That's for sure not good. Swallow your spit before you start. That's my second tip for y'all today. I don't like pressing on this so hard. There we go. We got a long one. There we go. So we're getting it kind of drained. It is pretty well drained. I'm going to do one thing that a lot of people won't like. I'm going to turn her over once, get that coolant to flow a little bit, see if I can get a little more back in the reservoir. Just going to boot her quick. Get some stuff pushed through. Let her get to Windows. Don't worry, it won't cook the chip or nothing. There's water in the pump top there, so isn't the best method to do, but it should move a little coolant around. Here we go. Shut her down. Probably getting warm. Yeah, you can tell the condensation starting in the block. That's right. She doesn't actually shut down when I tell it to shut down, so there goes that. I'm gonna try one more thing. This wheel, which is, I should have emptied this. But these are the extra ports off the back. This is risky. Getting the water by the laptop. Do not water cool your laptop directly, folks. This is my suggestion, but I'm gonna get a little more out of here. Here we go. Where's my blowing tube? Here we go. Let's see if this helps at all. Okay, got that side. Try the other side. More Coolant's QD3s here. Order some up. You carry them all. They're fun. They're nice. But after this, it should be pretty much drained. There's not many other places the coolant can be in this loop. That was weird. I don't know if that's spinning the pump and you can hear that, but it sounds like a little electric motor spinning. It's the little things, folks. But there is no difference in temps with other pastes when applied to just the IHS, right? I mean, there isn't no difference. As we saw today, there was a slight difference in the Kingpin KPX versus the Thermal Grizzly. Thermal Grizzly was slightly better by a couple degrees. But yeah, mostly the modern paste, if it wasn't like just like junk cheap stuff from something on Alley, should be plenty fine. Unless you're really into overclocking, but at that point I would assume you're probably doing a little bit of research on thermal paste, or at least checking out something like this, where someone's tried it and said it's pretty decent to start with. So yeah, if you got a cooler, most coolers these days come with it, even your water blocks. That is what Optimus actually ships with, though. Optimus blocks come with a little tube, not the 3 gram tube, but a little tube of Kingpin KPX. So They carry that for their box. I'm pretty sure EK is still on Thermal Grizzly. I don't know. I think it's I don't know if it's Cryonaut or not though. It might be the other one. I mean, they have a few. I think it might be a different one. It might not be Cryonaut. Let me get some more paper towels here because here they are. I'm gonna change out these QDCs to the proper ones. Like I said, these ones are technically panel mount ones, which aren't quite what I'm using them for here. They're not mounted in a panel. So I don't think there's tubes. Oh yeah, and then I made 2 little tubes to replace that. Those things have discolored. Like I said, they like to. So let's disconnect them. And then yeah, these ones are technically not quite as safe because it's just a straight barb. Then it has a little nut on it. A little wing, or not a wing nut, but that's how you mount it to a panel. You can drill your hole, stick it through. This on the other side. Tighten her down, you got a panel mount. So that's what that's for. Not for this, technically. So let's get this ready, because I think there's a little bit of, might have a little drippage. So this side, we had it as the male side, so I'll maintain that. I'll get you guys a little closer for this. As you can tell, there's there's a little bit of moisture in there, but when I had disconnected them, there really wasn't too much for actual water. Oh, helps if I knew how to use a compression fitting. Slide her over the tube, stick her on, and tighten it up. So technically, since it's QD3, that is one thing. When you're buying these Coolant quick disconnects, you cannot mix QD3, QD4, QD2. You cannot mix those. You have to stick with QD3 to QD3 or QD2 to QD2 and whatever. So that is the one thing as far as compatibility goes. But these right here that I have today are all QD3s, so they could all be mixed and matched. They'll fit. The little quick disconnect nozzle part is the same. So for this one, I'm taking out the tubing. Because she's a little gross. We don't need gross tubing for putting in fresh coolant. So yeah, this is usually the case. If you guys are getting into water cooling, wondering what tubing to go with, soft tubing is nice and easy to use. And it looks pretty good usually if you do a decent job at it. Oh, it does not want to come out. But it does, every brand that I've gotten of clear at least tends to discolor eventually, especially if you're using colored fluids. But even the clear stuff just gets a little bit off. It's not nearly as bad with clear. You could probably run it for a number of years with clear in it and you'd never notice any difference of how it looks. But it is recommended, or at least I would, if you want to keep your loop looking fresh as much as you can, I'd change out your tubing at least every time you change your coolant. Because you should be doing that once a year too. Unless you are running this plain distilled stuff like I was in this loop. If you're running that, you can definitely get away with longer for the most part. I mean, everybody's mileage is going to vary. You want to keep an eye on your loop. Maintenance is key with custom loops, guys. Don't ignore it. Don't put it off if it looks like it's getting gross. Well, here, I should be able to pull off. This is a tubing tamer. We sell these as well. They're kind of nice, especially if you were to use a soft tube build with a distro, because you could get your tubes to line up. Then we could make you custom length ones if you know the length. But since the barb pushed the tubing out, it's a little harder to get out. Oh well, we're gonna take it out. We're gonna take the fitting. Take it off at the fitting. I'll cryo it if it's not thermal grizz. Cryo not, yeah. For sure. There we go. Tubing tamer removed. Yeah, see, look at this stuff. That's Pretty nasty. Ugh. I mean, you can probably try to clean that, but I see no value in cleaning soft tube, especially just a little tiny section like that. Yeah, I got them pretty close. I think they're a little bit longer than the last sections, but whatever. Close enough for government work. This is just a test bench. Showing it to look perfect. Last box I bought came with Hydronaut. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, EK comes with Hydronaut, which is good stuff too. I think that stuff's not quite as good as Cryonaut. I'm not sure. I don't know how much I've used it myself, but good stuff as well. If you guys get some of that, there'd be no harm in running it. I think that stuff's a little bit more liquidy too, like the KPX, so it might actually be easier to apply than Cryonaut. But as far as I know, Cryonaut's still one of the better ones if you're looking for quality performance. So now we got the female sides going on, putting the compression. I messed up. I forgot to put on the tubing tamer. Oops. Back up. So, tubing tamer. Done. And my fitting's back. Some collars on here. And now we're cooking with gas. Yeah, these work just like a regular compression fitting. Slip it over the barb. Screw down the collar. They don't make any hard tube ones as far as I've seen. Maybe they'll make one eventually, but I don't think it's practical because hard tubes don't move. So this is great stuff for your test benches, or if you have like a radiator and pump set up outside your loop, like an external cooling loop, works great for that. Like the panel mounts work really good for that because then you can have them just mounted in your case and everything disconnects real easy. What is going on here? Wait a second. I didn't put the collar on this one. Or this isn't a different one. Did I not remove this one? What isn't? Oh yeah, this is the old one. Maybe this isn't a QD3. I may have misspoke. And that's the proof in the pudding right there, folks. QD2 does not work with... Yeah, what is this? No, this is... Oh, it's a QD3H. That's right. They have a few different sub-modelies, but I need one of these guys. No, not that. This one. So let's get the collar. Oops, I dribbled a little bit out of that one. Don't forget the anti-algae side. Well, I'm putting in EK Cryofuel Mystic Fog, which has all your biocides and anti-corrosives and all the good stuff already in it. But yes, before I was running, it was distilled with the Mayhem's biocide and corrosion inhibitor. This is a solid way to go. Simple stuff, very stable, no complaints here. I run it in my personal rig as well. But now we're gonna switch it up. So yeah, this is EK Cryofuel. Let's read some directions here. Ingredients: synergistic corrosion inhibitors, water-based dyes, scale, and biological inhibitors. Preparation before use. Ensure your liquid cooling components do not contain any residues from prior coolant. Check. Or cleaning chemicals. A simple flush with distilled water is usually sufficient. Previously used liquid cooling equipment, especially radiators, must be cleaned with no leftover coolant or chemical residue. For persistent deposits, EK recommends flushing radiators with warm water only, without using harsh chemicals. Mixing with other coolants. EK Cryofuel contains all this, so no, you don't need to. Do not mix stuff with it. Safety. Don't drink it or eat it or do any of that silly stuff. 2-year shelf life. Freezing point, -3C. 90% biodegradable in 10 days. Interesting. Okay. We've read up on our literature. Time to put it in. Then we'll get going on the other stuff on the bottom. How you folks doing? It's a D5. Yeah, Neil, they used to give the ectotherm stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's all gone now. That's an old thing. Not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure they don't supply ectotherm anymore. There we go. We'll hook this guy up to the red loop, so we can do that one next. I'll show you guys how to properly prepare your Primo prep. It's a lot of P's, but that's what we're doing with that loop because we can't just throw view in yet. Like EK said, as long as you got nothing going on funky in your loop, good flush with distilled. I use close to a gallon of distilled, I would say, at least a half gallon. Flushed it through, so we should be good. If not, I'll clean it again and try another bottle. I usually give coolant at least 2 tries. If it fails fantastically after 2 tries, I usually give up. But the last stuff, like I said, the other cryofuel opaque stuff that I run, although this isn't quite 100% opaque as far as I know. It's not quite like that. That stuff ran great, and it doesn't look too bad. I'm sure it's got a little discoloration there and stuff. That's why we're going to make sure we clean that one real thoroughly. But shook it up. Got to take off the child safety stuff. Get this little cover off. Got it. And we're ready to fill her up. Give you guys the view of the fill up. Here you go. Oh, there. A little better. Lots of stuff going on. Yeah, it's kind of clearish. It's not really an opaque. Huh. Cool. Yeah, it's supposed to look really good with your DRGB lighting or RGB lighting, any kind of lighting. It's got stuff in it to make it shine more and reflect more light. It kind of smells a little bit more. Oof. I don't know. We'll compare it to the view smell, but obviously you guys can't. They don't have smell screens yet. Imagine that. Scratch and sniff monitor. Somebody make one, please. Maybe not, though. This stuff is weird. I don't know if you want to smell it. So, it's going to take more than that, obviously. As you can tell, it really isn't an opaque. It's cloudy, but it is not like this. Huh. Cool. Oh, there's the fitting I was supposed to use. Silly me. So we got that one started. Now we're going to drain this and get the Primo prep prepared, because you have to mix it with distilled water and all that good stuff. Get rid of this tubing here. These fittings off to the side here. Don't need these. All that stuff. Thermal paste. Had a good run. More garbage. More fittings. Okay, so we got our bucket down below. We're going to drain this guy out. Let's see how good it drains. I'm pretty positive this loop's a little tougher because the rad is up. Ports are up. Not so good. Oof. Oh, no, not that. Why? Is this ball valve not functional anymore? That'll be a pain if it isn't. I might just need to tighten up the handle. But we're going to make an air gap. Which way does it say to turn? Not that way. Not that way, though. Why? Please, ball valve. Please, EK ball valve. Do I just have to tighten up that handle, maybe? Give it a shot. See if this Allen key's the right size. Oh, I think it's too big though. Too big. I need a smaller one. Patience, please. I find my random Allen keys that I have in my drawer in my office. So it's a small one. Here, let's see if it's this one. Did I get lucky? Hey yo. So let's see if that did it. So, which way? Why? Oofta. Yeah, this ball valve no worky work. That's not good, folks. That is definitely going to make it more of a struggle. But we do have a backup plan, which is doing like I did on the back end before. So I'm going to move my stuff and bring it out the back. That is actually it's a little bit lower point as far as elevation goes in the loop. It is kind of the more ideal one to use anyways, but I put a drain port on there for a reason. Sadly, it doesn't work. Okay. Need my bucket. Dandy bucket. Then, I'm just going to go like this. Pop this quick disconnect off. And away we go. Getting rid of the red. So that's the reservoir mostly emptied. What a bummer, ball valve. Yes, sir. They get sticky. The plastic wears thin. Pair of pliers. Well, I'll get it working maybe. Might as well order up a new one. I want to try to blow into the loop like I did with the other one. It's always the good trick. Where'd I put my fitting though? Ah! Here it is. We're getting disorganized, folks. I've been at this a while. We're finishing up though, so if you guys have any more random questions to ask me, water cooling, PCs, whatever, feel free to ask. Here to try to help. Don't know everything, but I try to know as much as I can. Once again, thank you all for joining in. Check the links below in the description if you're new here to the stream today. Lots of good stuff going on. Okay, that's a good bit out. Let's do the other way. Go the other way. Ooh, that tubing's getting old. I have to replace this back stuff one of these days. It's getting a little dingy. Ugh. Okay, next one. So since we're doing it this way, I'll just prep the Primo prep, get it all mixed up, and I'll throw it in for you guys. But like I said, that stuff's got to run for 72 hours. They say on the bottle, though, you can run your computer while you're running Primo prep. It's fine to use it as a coolant. I'm not sure if I'd try to test bench and do kind of crazy stuff with it, but you can still play games and have a good time with it. But you do want to let it run for a good 72 hours, they say. Oof. There's a little bit of coolant in that fitting. It does trap it in the quick disconnect. Obviously, this isn't what they're intended to use it. They're not supposed to be a drain like this. Not necessarily. Although it clearly works. not suggested. So, get her hooked back up here. Bucket out of the way. We don't need my blow tube anymore. I don't think. We're gonna need a fill tube, which is up top. That's okay though. Wipe up my mess. Dokes. Fill tube. Well, here. I'll mix up the Primo Prep. So, this is Primo Prep, ladies and gentlemen. It says on here, mix Primo Prep into 1 liter, 32 ounces of distilled water. So, this bottle is already open for some reason. It hasn't been used. This one's not, so I'm just going to leave that one sealed. Still Primo Prep, same stuff. Oof. A little crusty. Full bottle, though. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Ah, screw it. I'll use the brand new bottle. That crustiness, slightly worrisome. Let's give it the best chance it can have here. Fresh Primo Prep. It comes with the View, and I think all the other PrimoChill coolants you get come with this stuff. I've used it. I don't know. It's a loop cleaner. I think it works all right. We'll see, because as you can tell, I'm more than likely going to be replacing these tubes before we put the new stuff in. For now, I'll leave this tubing on there. We'll see how good the Primo Prep works, although I've never really seen anything get rid of the scale. Like, there's buildup in there. You guys can see that. It's kind of tough. But, yeah, it's kind of gunked. So, I've really never seen any cleaner, even Blitz. I have some Blitz here. I'm not going to use it with this, though. So we throw this in there. Ooh. Wow, that's some weird stuff. I didn't notice that before. Look at that stuff, guys. Suppose I should have put my liter in first. Oh well. Adding a liter of distilled water. 1,000 milliliters. Yeah, that stuff's weird. It's like a little soapy. It's got a couple chunks in there. I don't know if I should have stirred it. Oh, it's mixing together with the water now. Cool. I was going to go get a spoon. There are still a couple chunks, but there we go. We have 1 liter of Primo Prep. Look at that. You guys see that chunk in there? The chunky boy? Three of them. Wonder what those are. Is it part of like the water seal, the watertight seal on the top? I'm wondering if it's like parts of this. It doesn't look like that's come apart. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna go get a spoon though, so we can start it. Okay, so I'm just gonna get those out of there because I'd rather not have it in my block, and they don't seem to stir. I don't think those are supposed to be in there. I don't know if I'll actually... Oh, come on. So close. There's one. I want to get this big one out. Oh. You guys get to see me struggle. It doesn't want to leave. Stop it. Come back. Come back. Okay. I think I got most of the chunkies. We're going to run that. Oof. Tipping stuff over already. So, I have... this funnel doesn't fit the best. I don't think. We're going to run this one. I'll throw a little distilled through it though. Since I put the Mystic Fog in it, I guess. I don't want to risk it. Grab that. Okay, so I'm taking this, grabbing some distilled, dumping it into my bucket. There we go. Now she's rinsed. And we're going to fill up our other loop with Primo Prep. So here we go. So what cleaning products do you guys prefer? Let me know. Like I said, I've got both Blitz and Primo Prep here, though we didn't use the Blitz. So I'm not using any Mayhem's products. But that's also, part 2 is a good one to flush your loop with. Well, you're not technically supposed to like use it with EK stuff and whatnot. You can, but if you tell them that and your coolant failed, they're probably not going to replace your coolant or anything if it was damaged. So, can't make that recommendation. Like I said, PrimoChill provides Primo Prep. They have this system soap as well, which I may throw through at some point. I've used it. It's a lot like dish soap. It's not quite dish soap. It's very similar consistency and color. However, it is for your loop. You can also use it as like lube when you're trying to put tubings on, like rigid tubings and the fitting's tough. You can use it for that too. It's got all kinds of purposes, good stuff too. And they have Rad Clean as well. However, that is to be used separately. Just like Mayhem's Part 1, you're supposed to flush your rads with that stuff out of the loop, not in it. Because it's harmful to your other stuff. So, we won't be doing that today either. But, let's flush out our funnel again so we can top off the EK. I think there's more to be put into the EK loop up top than the Primo Prep loop down below. That should at least have enough to get circulating, so I'm going to cap her off for now, and we'll top it up in a bit. And I'll definitely bring you guys along when I fill the view up. So that'll probably be the most exciting time when it looks all fancy. It'd be cool to see it last a while though. I would definitely be intrigued and would be pretty pumped. But let's throw some more Mystic Fog action in the top and get her started up. So we'll put a little more in here, but we're gonna have to wait till she gets started to even add more. Probably get a little bit in the tube there, ready to go. But here we go with the maiden voyage of EK Mystic Fog. You've seen it here. Pretty Blitz Part 1. Can do full loop flushes, at least the directions say so. That's Part 2. Definitely Part 2. Effective neutralization of bacteria and algae. Part 1 is only for your radiators, so I would not recommend using Part 1 in your whole loop. Make sure you drain it is still closed. Yeah, this, I guess it isn't closed, but it's not open either, so good call though. Primo Prep warns you in the bottle to not leave it in a loop for long. Yeah, it says Primo Prep on the bottle here. It says, run the Primo Prep for 72 hours. Don't worry though, you can still use the PC for normal use. Game on. It says, do not drain any sooner than 72 hours and be sure to turn off your computer a couple hours each day. Then, after we get done with the 72 hours, completely flush out all of your system with distilled water and drain your PC before adding your final fluid. So, that's the plan. We're going to give it 3 days. And come back next week, we'll be able to toss in the view before I head off to Florida. But yeah, let's get her booted up, folks. My starter. Ooh-wee. That stuff's still really red. I knew it would be. I suppose I could have flushed some more distilled through it, but I will be thoroughly cleaning that loop. I just wanted to show you guys today how you use Primo Prep, really. But yeah, flushing that loop is going to be a little bit of a chore because it's the red fluid, or it was red fluid. I'll probably just let that run like that for a little bit. I'll top it up in a bit. We got EK Cryo Fuel going in, though. Or, yeah, this is Cryo Fuel, technically. All their coolants are. Oh, it looks really neat in the block, to be honest. It's pretty white in the block. I know I don't have like a fancy LED block, but you guys can see that it's pretty white. I like it. It doesn't not match this computer. I guess this is the white loop too. Or no, wait, there's white fittings. I have no idea what I do with this loop. But it fits. I like it. Good stuff. It will eat the fitting. Yeah. Part 1 is exclusively for radiators. Yeah. It's got some pretty harsh stuff in it. Even part 2 isn't the nicest stuff, which is why EK says no go with their stuff for that. I've done it in the past though. Like I said, not recommended. But you can use part 2 to flush your system with other coolants. Nobody's going to come and swat you or scoop you up and say you did a bad thing. It's your loop. But as far as I'm concerned and what I'm going to tell you guys, I would follow what it says in the bottle. That way, if it goes wrong, you can always contact the manufacturer. I know companies like EK and I believe PrimoChill too are pretty good about supporting their products if they're used properly and then you have an issue with them. So they'll usually get you set up with replacement stuff. I can't promise that, not speaking for them. But if you buy the stuff through us, Performance PCs, and have an issue, reach out to us, RMA at performancepcs.com. We'll handle that for you. You guys don't got to contact them and ask for new stuff when it doesn't work out. We will do that for you. So that's what we do. What we got? That's part 2. Even though this is a cleaning solution, it is not long-term effective inhibitor. Never leave it in your system longer than 24 hours. I think that's part 2, because yeah, Primo Prep you have to use for 72 hours, they say. So, from the part 1 page. Yeah, but it's still not, they just mean don't leave it in the radiator for more than 24 hours. Because even though your radiator is copper, it's still going to start eating stuff away if you use it for too long. Thank you, Doctor. We appreciate your support. We're kind of wrapping up here, though. Like I said, we got this running. We'll be checking out this view. I don't know if I got quite the right red for this loop. It looks a little bit darker in the bottle, although I know for a fact that PrimoChill is good at using like a slightly blue tinted bottle. So I'm thinking it'll be a little closer to that. At least I hope. There's like 3 or 4 views though that are red colors. So I just grabbed, this one is the Razor Red SX. It sounded pretty cool. Looks good. It's definitely a view. It's cool stuff. So I'm excited to see what it does. I mean, like I said, I'd be pumped if I got it to last, a few months. That wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing at all. But yeah, the Mystic Fog, it's clearing up now a little bit. It's losing some of the bubbles. These loops usually do pretty good about getting rid of the air pretty quickly. I'm leaving that guy up there just so I can top it off a little bit more because it will go down a little bit. There are still bubbles in it. You can hear them going through. However, it's clearing up quite nicely in the tubes. It is, like you can see through the, if you look at the RAM. I do have LED RAM. Woo! I guess there's a little bit of lighting. So it isn't an opaque. It is not nearly as opaque as this stuff was. Obviously, that's a whole new issue now with the tubing. However, it was pretty much solid. You couldn't see through it in the tubes. And that was Scarlet Red from EK. So it isn't an opaque. I have a feeling this stuff's going to work pretty good. I think performance-wise, people also said that it might be better. Although, and I guess we do have a few numbers to definitively test that a little bit. I should have wrote down the coolant temps. Because that would have been a little better for this. However, I can check it out, although I think I'd rather run a little more extensive tests before I get that specific. Oh yeah, further down, it's a bit vague. Say rad, then drain. Part 2 is a neutralizer. Yeah. So off topic, a titch, but in my years of buying distilled or ionized water, building PCs, I've always seen CPAP water, but never looked into any specifics. But if it's medical grade, I'd assume the anti. Huh. So wait, what? This is just grocery store distilled water. Oh wow, it's actually bottled in the state I live in, so that's cool. Processed by steam distillation. So you don't want to use this just by itself. You do want to use an inhibitor. However, in my years of water cooling, I haven't really used deionized water because when you run a liquid over metal components, they pick up ions. That is ionization. So I really don't see any point in spending the extra money in deionized water, although it is supposedly distilled a little better from what I've heard. It might be more like along the lines of medical grade, like he said. Microbial bacteria, funk, and gunk is top notch. Any idea if maybe helping preparing loops using a coolant with effects like all these? For all these, definitely thorough flushes with distilled. Like I said, I ran in this one before. It was just distilled water with the Mayhem's additives. Pretty basic stuff. There was no buildup. I did replace these tubes because they were getting a little old, but that's about it. There's nothing crazy going on in the loop, so I just flushed it with close to a gallon of distilled. The more, the better. Go for multiple gallons if you got the time. Just keep flushing it through. Keep running it through. The more you do, the better it's going to be. It's not going to hurt it if you're just using distilled. If you have like a bunch of crazy buildup, a little bit more similar to this loop where you used a color like red, that's definitely a notorious one for staining. You might have to actually break down your loop. You can try something like System Soap or Primo Prep like I've got here, or even Part 2 from Mayhem's. However, in my experience, it usually doesn't get it all out. You have to take it apart and scrub stuff, take blocks apart, pull your reservoir apart, all that good jam. So I may be doing that with this. We'll see what happens. The reservoir looks pretty good though. That's not stained, but I may replace these two tubes, and I am going to replace these two tubes for sure. So, learned that from mechanics. Pretty sure CPAP water is just distilled. Deionized water initially rips ions out of the metal. Oh. Well, yeah, that's where it picks them up. I don't think it... Do you know it actually does real long-term damage? I don't think. You need to get Tygon Norpine. We have Tygon tubing. If you wanted Tygon. It's a whole category in the soft tubing department. So, thanks for all these great questions, guys. It's been a pleasure chilling with you. I'm kind of wrapping it up, though. As I've been mentioning, all the social media stuff, down the link below. Get in our group, Discord. The BOTM is going on, Build of the Month. That's on BuildGG. It's the first link down there. Get into that if you're into PC building and want to win some free stuff. Over $1,000 of prizes. So please do that. We will be back streaming some more next week, I'm pretty sure. I have kind of a busy week, so I'm not positive you'll see me. However, Garrett should at the very least get back to work. I hope so. Deionized water is very, very aggressive until it is ionized. Yeah, so I wonder how much, if like you kept changing out to fresh deionized, if you could actually start damaging your blocks eventually. I don't know. I'm sure it takes a lot. That's an extreme situation, but thanks for the info. I love science. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be heading out tonight, guys. It's 5 o'clock here where I'm at. About time to get a beer and call it the weekend. But I will be around. If you guys need any support, feel free to email me. Shoot me a message on Discord, whatever you want to do. Hit me up. I'll be around. I can help you. Thank you guys for all your support. If you've been ordering lately, we appreciate that for sure. It goes a long ways. So thanks, y'all. Appreciate the questions. Yeah, the things have come out. Shiny new hardware is kind of fun, though. You'll never know what you'll get. For sure. So, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You all have a great weekend. Enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks. Goodbye. Happy water cooler.